According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the average consumer will eat 202.2 pounds of red meat and poultry this year. Meat consumption in the United States exceeds the recommended levels and comes with a great and fortunate price to pay. Today I'm going to tell you the inconvenient truth about high consumptions of meat, discussing first its negative effects, second the corruption in the meat industry, and third explaining how you can decrease your meat consumption. First I'm going to explain its negative effects. Eating a high consumption of meat has negative effects on your public health. The World Health Organization declared processed meat a carcinogen. Eating too much meat has been linked to increasing rates of heart disease, cancer, and obesity. Most meat is injected with antibiotics, making us antibiotic resistant. According to TheGuardian.com, last retrieved November 30th, it states, resistant bacteria are a grave threat and getting worse. They are responsible for at least 700,000 deaths each year. Eating a high consumption of meat also has a horrible effect on the environment. The meat industry holds a huge carbon footprint due to the deforestation needed to grow and feed animals. According to OneGreenPlanet.org, last retrieved November 30th, Sandy Schwartz says livestock accounts for an estimated amount of 35 to 40% of global methane emissions. Methane emissions is one of the largest contributors to climate change because of its ability to trap heat in the atmosphere. Now that we have discussed high consumption of meat's negative effects, let's talk about the corruption in the meat industry. Bias funding is a huge problem in the meat industry. In the documentary What the Health, it uncovered that the American Diabetes Association meal plan was recommending many foods linked to causing diabetes. Their common sponsors were Oscar Mayer, Lunchables, Bumblebee Foods. Those are all processed meats. According to the NewYorkDailyNews.com, last retrieved November 30th in 2015, a study was published by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that concluded adults with hypertension who want to lower their blood pressure need to incorporate pork in their diet. This study was funded from the National Pork Board. There's also a great fight for transparency in the meat industry. Rules like ag laws are made to punish people who record the conditions at animal agriculture facility without the owner's consent. There's also a lot of deceptive advertising and labels. Now that we have discussed high consumption of meat's negative effects and the corruption in the meat industry, let's talk about how you can decrease your meat consumption. Ways you can decrease your meat consumption are switching to alternative meat products and brands like Morningstar and Gardein, incorporating more foods high in protein like beans, lentils, quinoa, and nuts, and cutting out meat completely by switching to a vegetarian diet that excludes eating all meat, or switching to a vegan diet that excludes all forms of exploitation of animals from food to clothing. Today we discussed why we should decrease our intake of meat by first explaining the negative effects of a high consumption of meat, second, the corruption in the meat industry, and third, explaining how you can decrease your meat consumption. Chrissy Hyde said it best. The meat industry spends hundreds of millions of dollars lying to the public about their products, but no amount of false propaganda can sanitize the meat. The facts are absolutely clear. Eating meat is bad for human health, catastrophic for the environment, and a living nightmare for the animals. Thank you.